the Bliss Business Podcast, the show about empathy, connection, and consciousness in business. Today's episode is brought to you by Zero Company, your paid search, social media, and programmatic ad experts.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. And if anything goes sideways on this show, we're just going to blame our producer who's on meds with dental issues. And we were talking a lot of dentistry before show, so we won't trigger you with that word anymore. But welcome back to the show where we explore how empathy, connection, purpose transform business from the inside out. I'm Stephen, joined as always by my co-host, Mike. According to Talent Smart, 90% of top performers score high in emotional intelligence, but only 36% of people can accurately identify their emotions in the moment. And at the same time, businesses that invest in cultures of empathy and connection consistently outperform competitors in retention, satisfaction, and long-term profitability. So today we're diving into how emotional intelligence can drive success, resilience, and culture in business. Mike, introduce our guests today.
Absolutely delighted to, Stephen. And as we can see, we have two guests today. So first off, we have with us today Kath Allen. She's the founder of Hike Doggie Incorporated and Hike Doggie Franchising, LLC. Quite interesting. Kath has transformed her love for adventure, service, and pets into this thriving brand that is redefining pet care through structured dog hikes. And as well, just this year in 2025, she was recognized as in the Titan 100 list of top executives in Colorado. As well, she now leads Hike Doggie's national expansion with a recent partnership through Loyalty Brands. And as well, we have today with us Abbey Lee. She's a partner of Hike Doggie Incorporated and Hike Doggie Franchising, LLC. Quite interesting as well. Abbey brings with her background in education, international experience, and a passion for animals to the company. And as well, she's developed franchisee training programs, streamlined systems, and plays a very vital role in the operations and the move in the national growth. So welcome to the show. We are so delighted to have you with us today, Kath and Abbey.
Thank you so much. We're super psyched to be here.
So it's going to be a good show.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. I can already tell. So just this past Wednesday, I was driving with my daughter, and we're following this van that has this dog, and it's got barbells on it, the picture on it, and this is mobile dog gym. Right. And my daughter's joking about getting your dog shredded and tracking gains, and I'm looking up. I'm all, what do they do mobily? And they have like a treadmill in there and stuff. Yeah. I guess it's good for some dogs, maybe that can't walk very far. But I was just thinking, like, my dog loves to get out and loves to, get the full sensory experience of, the smells and the breezes and everything, getting out into on these long walks. And he's almost 18 years old and he still does 3-mile walks. So I'm excited to be on this topic. Before we get into the topic, Kath, tell us a little bit about Hike Doggie, if you could.
Yeah. So Hike Doggie, we are a professional dog hiking company, obviously, but our mission kind of leads the parade there because our mission is to make dogs as happy as they make us, which they always say you should pick a mission that you can't achieve because dogs are so darn cool, that we love them. And you wake up in the morning and I don't know about you, our dogs sleep in our bed and they're licking your face and it's just like a big love fest before you even get out of bed. So we really devote our life to making them happy. And we do that via dog hikes. We in Golden, Colorado, that's where we're based. We take them up into the mountains, a couple hours. We're loving on them. We're spooning with them in the forest and the meadows. We're laughing with them, take tons of pictures for the parents and give them treats afterward. We wash them up. We everything we do is really focused on the dog. Like even our Hike Doggie buses themselves, they're light blue for a reason because dogs can only see 3 colors. I don't know if you know that, but blue, yellow, and shades of gray. So Imagine you're a dog like sitting on the back of the couch, waiting in the morning, waiting for your Hike Doggy bus to come by. They actually see their super cool ride pull up, and they get super excited, and the dog parents go nuts. And so we pick them up in the morning. They're super full of energy. Take them out in the mountains for a really enriched day. They're hanging out with their pals. They're having a lot of fun.
That's how you do it. I'm just saying, I don't know about treadmill and all that.
I don't even want to be on a treadmill.
So I saw that.
Back on the couch.
I saw that once, and I just saw a picture of it like on Instagram, and I wasn't sure. I was like, "What?"
Yeah. I don't know. Like my in-laws have had some very fat dogs where I could see some treadmill support that might be like getting them from there to be able to then walk around a block or something.
Right.
But so, Kath, your journey kind of spans from being a collegiate athlete to leading a fast scaling franchise. On the topic today, we're talking about how has emotional intelligence shaped your leadership across these stages?
I'll tell you, I love this topic so much because it's the unspoken hero, I think, of, successful companies and people. I did start in sports. I played basketball and field hockey and softball, and played basketball in Division II in college. And I'll tell you, that kind of set the groundwork for why emotional intelligence, played a big part in my life. You're fast paced, you got to work with the team, you got to be coachable, you got to be able to communicate to each other, work towards a common goal. It was kind of like, I didn't think about emotional intelligence back then, but when I look back on it, how it prepared me for, the different scenarios that I would be in throughout my business life and my regular, personal life. It was pretty amazing. And I was really fortunate to have super great coaches, basketball in particular in high school. There were like more coaches than team players. I can't explain it. There was like 7 guys on the bench, and then we were in the second row. They were really into it. And they really cared about like our personal development, more than even winning, if I can say that out loud. Like they, getting everybody into college, making sure we're growing up to be good people was really, really important to them. So that kind of taught me what it meant to be a good leader, because I had that out in front of me the whole time. And I'll tell you what, then I moved into, I was with Avis Budget Car Rental. I was a global account manager for 20 years. And it's really funny because I'll tell you what, the emotional intelligence part started to kick in because I couldn't tell you how many blue cars we had in our fleet or how many premium cars. People would ask those questions in board meetings and things. And the reality is I had no idea, and I didn't care to learn. And I just made sure that I developed great relationships with my, my clients. And that meant just being authentic, having fun, listening to them, making their day a little brighter, but making sure I, took care of their problems and really felt for them. I really learned to be of service then, I would say. You get joy out of being of service, tackling problems for people and making sure that they're having a better day and a better life. And so that was a big thing for me. And I'd say when I crossed over to Hike Doggie and creating Hike Doggie, I would say it's the emotional intelligence part. When you're continuing to build relationships is really easy when you create a service or product in the marketplace which is truly needed. And therefore, when you are speaking to, potential clients, I don't love the word sales, a lot of people don't. It's more being able to relate to them, be authentic, listen to them. What are their pain points? And identifying, they have a crazy dog. I have one too, by the way. Just before we went live, running up the steps, his name's Storm. I won't tell you what we really call him. Like there's a first word, and he just runs up and down the steps like all day long because I had appointments to go through this morning, and he didn't get out on the trail.
Yeah, I think we can get the first word of the storm there.
But I think if you create that like, at least for me, then I'm able to authentically talk to people and be myself. And everybody's their own individual, whether it's a serious person or a fun person or a caring person, whatever that is. But that comes through, and I think that's the whole emotional intelligence, being able to make that connection with people. Because I'll tell you what, we have Abby and I make these calls for corporate, even though we're on the franchising side as well. it's one of our favorite parts, apart from hanging out with the dogs and getting slobber and fur all over us. We love talking to people because they're fun. It's being curious about people. And first, I mean, I love to delve in, like, what's your area code? Are you from Jersey? I'm from Jersey. Like, I go with it. I find out what connection points we have. And then it just naturally, even if somebody might be more reserved, they're very like, they open up and they have a great time, and then they share more, and that allows me to connect more. And then it always goes well because it's fun. So I found that is a big, the emotional intelligence ride that I've been on. It becomes natural, especially if you're doing it every day and you're talking to people every day and you're putting yourself out there.
And those lessons that you mentioned there, transcend all those industries that you've been in, right? Those people skills. It's such a great component, yeah.
100%. I would tell you, Mike, there's a great line. It's a great saying. It says something like, good salespeople sell benefits, great salespeople sell outcomes, but outstanding salespeople sell feelings. And it sounds a little hokey, but the reality is people don't remember what you say. They remember how you make them feel. I feel when I'm on the other end of it, when I connect with somebody, I'm like, I don't even care what you're selling. Like, I want to be your friend. I love you. You're so fun. Can we hang out and go have dinner together? And that's, I think, what it's all about.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would agree wholeheartedly, right? It really leads to a very strong connection. So, Abbey, maybe we'll throw the question over to you to talk a little bit as well on your experience with emotional intelligence. Now, you've lived internationally as well, had to balance teaching and parenting, and as well as being a business leader. So I'm curious, right? Like, how has emotional intelligence maybe helped you adapt to the situation, or even be able to guide others?
Yeah, I think emotional intelligence for me definitely started at a young age. I always wanted to be a teacher. That was just something that when you write it and when you're 5, what do you want to be? That's what I said. And I kind of stuck true to that for my whole education. And so I was always interested. For me specifically, I was in elementary education. So what made little kids tick? Like, what made them, how can you help them through? How can you help them develop? And part of that is just getting along with their peers and adults and all of that stuff. So child psychology and all of that stuff was very much always a passion of mine. So that's definitely where it started. Then I had my own 3 children, and they challenged me immensely. Emotional intelligence.
They do that to all of us.
I think for me, one of the biggest things was just being able to learn how to
None
listen.
of them are named Storm, are they? Because
maybe nicknamed.
Occasionally. But yeah, just learning how to listen. I think that is a skill that is really something you need to practice and really hone in on. I'm always a fixer, so I want to jump in and fix everyone's problems. But, with my own kids, my own family, and also, our Hike Doggie team, we just have to really listen and be able to cultivate, what everybody's feeling in that time.
Right.
So,
Right.
And living internationally definitely played a role as well. When you don't know, I lived in Germany, so I took immense, very intense language courses, but didn't always understand everything. But you actually can learn a lot by, body language and things like that as well. It's not always the words people are speaking. So.
Absolutely right. And we live in this day and age that's just so fast paced. And I think, as you both are sort of alluding, patience is one of these things that plays such a key role in helping us just to be able to slow down and take it all in and not get caught up in what's going on everywhere around us. So.
For either of you, can you share a moment when EQ directly influenced a decision, or resolved a conflict or something, or strengthened some business outcome?
Yeah. Every day. No, for sure. I think I would lead with when we're, if you're an entrepreneur, it's not if something is wrong happen today, it's kind of when it's going to happen today. So I think after 9.5 years of Hike Doggie, we if you wrap your head around that mindset that something is going to happen, then you really look at it as, how do I turn this problem into an opportunity? And so somebody gave me that nugget early on when I was at Avis Budget, and it stuck with me. And I would just say, I think the average person, or a lot of the average people, might get freaked out by problems and sit and stew on them and kind of hide from them or think about them, and maybe I don't have to deal with them. But Hike Doggie, Abbey will attest to this. You have to run at the problem. Like, there's not enough time to just run at it. Like, don't run from it. And so that's kind of what we do. And being emotionally intelligent people love that. They love our clients or our team. They love that you take things on head on. And so I would say one incident, for example, this was back in the day, years ago, when we had a hiker of ours didn't follow protocol, and they were out hiking, dogs on the trail, and they did something they weren't supposed to do. They threw treats down on the ground with multiple dogs around. Okay. That's a no-no, and a dog fight can ensue. And lo and behold, we had a dog named Bo who ended up getting bit in the face. Okay. And so we had to pull into action, drive up to the trail, tend to Bo, call the dad. The dad, this was his baby. This is his boy. Bo is his boy. So anyway, call him, take him to the vet. They had to put a drainage into his face, a drainage tube. It wasn't pretty. A couple stitches, antibiotics. Again, this is not something that happens normally at Hike Doggie, I'd like to say. So this one sticks out at me.
Sorry, it's dentistry day, so
Of course.
I
coming back full circle from our pre-game conversation here.
I felt it was okay. I felt the door was open there, so I was going to. But I remember I called Gary, his dad, and I told him everything that was going on minute by minute, and of course I paid the vet bill, and then I drove Bo home. And I got so emotional because, we let Bo down, we let Gary down, and Gary was kind of like, "Whoa, he doesn't look good. His face doesn't look good." But I will tell you, the next week he stayed home for about a week or two, and I went there every day, walked Bo, took him to Home Depot during rainstorms. I just made sure I was with Bo every day, brought him toys and stuff. And a funny thing is that Gary and his girlfriend Phoenix today are our fourth franchisee, and they're in Denver West. And I remember when we were signing the agreement, he said, "Kath, if it wasn't you, we wouldn't be doing this." But it was talk about like doing the right thing, which is one of our core values. Mm-hmm. I think if you always do the right thing, you get the best outcome, even though it's very painful to go through it, in the moment. So that's
if you don't, I would say, if you don't know what to do the loving thing. That's usually the high ground. That's usually the right thing.
Yeah.
It's,
right. Nobody's gonna, I don't know, tell you that was bad. So.
It's interesting. You're talking about like these protocols and stuff that we wouldn't even have thought about. Your experience doing all this, you obviously learn and have a lot of.
We've made all the mistakes.
Yeah, everyone.
Hey, that's just fine as long as you learn from them, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly. We always tell our franchisees, "You're welcome. Like, you don't have to make the mistakes. We fix them."
So, research shows that organizations with strong cultures see 40% higher retention. Are there any systems or practices you have put in place at Hike Doggie to kind of intentionally reinforce that empathy and the trust and connection as you grow? I mean, this is kind of what we talk about a lot on the show. So we're always trying to pull out.
Jump in. My teaching background brought me into Hike Doggie, and I was like, we need systems here, so that's been kind of a pivotal role for me here. And, we started with our corporate Hike Doggie business here in Denver, just laying out all the systems and everything that needed, from start to finish. And then that translated into our franchise. When we started franchising, we built a proprietary online training platform. And literally from top to bottom, we've had a lot of internal struggles with they need a phone number. I'm like, or they need a business card. No, they need a phone number first, So we just kind of really have tried to lay out that system for our franchisees so that they don't have to do it. And I think built into that, Kath and I, which is kind of above and beyond, but we both really love learning. And, we built into there a whole leadership platform. And so every week, our franchisees that are going through their training have to go through some like leadership. Some of it's inspirational, some of it's, just makes you think. And, I think we're all just learning always. And, kind of just, that's a cultural thing for us that we've woven into our training, that I think so far our franchisees have really appreciated is just that, leadership means a lot of things. It's kind of a big word that, and having emotional intelligence is something that successful leaders really need to have. And so we've really tried to build that into our training platform for our franchisees.
I think that speaks volumes, particularly like in the franchising space, right? Because you want them to be able to carry this on to the community as well, right? And into each of those different areas and locations that they're in. So, Kath, I'm a little curious. You mentioned, the mission a little bit earlier of Hike Doggie. It touches pets as well as the owners, the franchisees, and employees, right? And so we oftentimes on this show talk a lot about all of those stakeholders. It's one of the main pillars of the conscious capitalist movement, to really be mindful, of not just profits or not just the owners, but really all the stakeholders that are involved. So maybe share with us, like, how has leading, with empathy and that emotional intelligence kind of shaped the culture and perhaps even affected the growth trajectory of Hike Doggie?
Well, I'll tell you, it's very interesting that you say that, because I will tell you, when I started in Avis Budget Group, for example, it's just funny because Avis, I don't know, I'm dating myself, but we try harder. Does anybody remember that? I don't even know if they still use this.
Yeah.
It was like ingrained in us that we were number two, keep trying, you're never going to catch Hertz, that kind of thing. So I think everybody took it to mean like focus on the client, right? Like we try harder for the client. Like, so we were always focused on the client experience and the client satisfaction. And that was right. But I will tell you one thing that I didn't understand because I didn't experience it. I was a global account manager. I was flying solo. Like even when they asked me to do like a performance review for somebody in the office, I'm like, can somebody else do that? I'm just going to go do my thing over here. So what I didn't understand was, the team aspect of it. So we focus so much on the client, and to us, the client is the dog, the Hike Doggie themselves, as well as the Hike Doggie parent.
Sure.
But I'll tell you, when we finally, after a couple of years, we really figured out that what we were doing a poor job with was we weren't thanking and appreciating our team as much as we should. And once we made that connection that our team was the third leg on the stool, I'll tell you what, that's when all the magic happened. That's when we realized, like, these are our ambassadors of Hike Doggie. They're the ones who are out there making all the magic happen for the dogs, for the parents. They're the ones picking up the dogs. They're the ones taking the amazing photos. They're the ones dressing them up in costumes and feathers and sunglasses and all that. And they're talking to the parents. They really are Hike Doggie. They're like the soul of our company. And so once we started to really understand that, then we put things in place as far as, making sure we were mentoring them properly, making sure that we were checking in, that we were calling them out, we were celebrating them every day. We're a virtual company. And so from a virtual company, they, we're using Google Chats all day. We're communicating nonstop. To be honest, full disclosure, we communicate until midnight at our place. It's like they're posting pictures of fun dogs. They're posting pictures of great things that happen to them during the day. And once we realized that, this culture really started to thrive within our organization. And that's when everything from, going out to or doing, events with obviously rescue events for dogs and things like that. But we're so goofy. We get together and we go to breweries. I had this great idea, by the way. Doesn't it sound like just a bad idea? But
tell me.
During COVID, we'd be out on the trail, and it's a weird thing. It's a Colorado thing. There were a lot of painted rocks. They were like, "Be strong, you can make it." Like people left them all over. You could pick them up, bring them home.
Sure, yeah.
And so I was like, we're going to paint rocks. This is going to be great. We'll paint rocks. We'll distribute them. We'll put them on the trail. Look, Abbey has one, right? Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
you got one there.
Take a look.
It's really cute.
Yeah, for those listening, it's a little dog looking kind of over its
Aw.
tail.
It's a corgi butt too.
Corgi, yeah, little corgi.
So little did I know what backfired on me is everybody's apparently an artist on our team, except for me. Okay. I spent like 2 hours painting a blue rock over and over and over again. Like everybody's checking in, like the leader is terrible at that. You know? I have other skills. But
Hey, well, the dogs could see the blue rock.
right. Thank you, Mike. Thank you. That's what I was thinking.
You were looking out for them. I knew where you were going with that.
Mike, you're a giver. I appreciate that. But that was I would say a huge aha moment for our team, just because, you know, as a small business, you only, you know, keeping all the balls in the air, you're focused on a lot of things, and it was easy to focus on client. But
Yeah.
the reality is, once we started also focusing within, then it made our clients that much happier, because everyone was happy and they were doing a better job, having better satisfaction at their job, and then experiencing personal growth. And by the way, then we moved from people, the retention staying with us, you know, maybe a year, to now we have people here who are like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. For a small company, it's pretty amazing. And imagine how the dogs benefit, because they know all the nuances of the dog.
Yeah.
They know that Big Tony Siberian Husky has to run out his door, drop on the yard, do belly rubs for 20 minutes, and then gets on the bus. Like they know all the things about our dogs. So it really, the trajectory of our company just went off the charts because of that. It was super cool.
I'll also jump in and say, you know, we are unique in that, you know, our team is filled with dog obsessed, outdoor obsessed people, and it makes for a really eclectic, kind of really fun group.
Yeah.
And we hike here Monday through Saturday, and most Sundays our team gets together, gets all their own dogs, and goes hiking. So they do their job on their day off, and
So funny.
it's a really special, fun thing that we have here.
Yeah, that'd be kind of
That's
sad if they
incredible.
didn't take their dog hiking at some point.
Yeah. They get to go
Like
too.
the chefs, when they come home from work, they don't want to, you know.
But when you come home from hiking and you haven't brought your own dog, they're like, "What? Where have
Oh
you
my
been?
God.
Yeah, they
Who have you
sniff
been
your
with?"
everything.
Wow, sniff up and down your leg. It's like 50 different dog
They
breeds.
know where you've been.
What?
You know,
What is that? That's wrong, Mom, on so
Yeah.
many levels. I don't want to even look at you.
Awesome.
So, Steve, I think we got a question here from the audience, maybe. Let's see. So, question maybe for both of you, whoever wants to take this one. When people warn against combining family and business, how do you help them, you know, sort of see the potential benefits then of that?
That's a beautiful question.
It is. It really, really is. I can start if you want to finish, Ab.
Sure.
Okay, like it's really, really good, because number one, my brother is my equity partner. So he came to me and he's like, hey, you know, hey, dog love girl, what do you want to do? You're going to rent cars your whole life? I don't think so. And I'm like, all right, that's interesting. So he said, hey, you come up with a good business plan, one that holds water, and I'll be your equity partner and we'll go with it. So spent a lot of time on that. So there's my brother. Then I have my boyfriend of 23 years, who's a financial advisor, who here I am, I live with him. I'll tell you, the first time we went up in the mountains, I bought a computer. He went golfing. I started working on the P&L. He came home. I was still in my pajamas. I was crying. I called it puke and lay down, not P&L. He was like, how about puppies and love? Let's try. He's like, let me pour a scotch and see if I can just calm down. And so that was like, he's the other part of, you know, the family member part. And then I started the company with Abby's. I don't know if you know this. Abby is my niece and I'm her aunt. I don't know if everybody knows that, but yeah. So I started the business with Abby's brother, Steven, and he moved out here with his wife out to Colorado from Pennsylvania for 3 years, or 2 years, maybe 3. Great. Totally had fun. That's when we launched Hike Doggie. That's when we were stumbling through, making a whole bunch of mistakes, not sure what we were doing. So many funny stories. They lived in my house. We hired our first hiker. my boyfriend would come downstairs, go back up with a cup of coffee and be like, there's a guy named Mike and a yellow lab in our kitchen. I don't know what's happening. And I'm like, it was just crazy. He would eat Steven's bananas. It was a very funny time. And we actually had the franchise model right out in front of my house because we had one bus and then we had a second bus, and we actually carry turd tanks. I don't know if you know this. They're stenciled "No turd left behind." And we carry them and we pick up our bags of poop and we throw them in there. Well, those would kind of be drying by the barbecue. Malcolm's like, can you move those a little away from the barbecue? That'd be great. So this whole business is growing in the family. And then Abbey came along after like a year and a half. And she literally, thank God for Abbey, she really was the one who's like, hey, you need some systems. And I don't know, she brought the magic powers into, and I'll turn it over to her in a second, but I will say Abbey, just as my niece and just a great friend of mine, has thrived and stepped up and worn all the hats and done all the things. You ask her to do anything, she's like, all right, I don't know what I'm doing, but you're going to be HR today. She's like, don't like that one. And I'm known as the HR nightmare, by the way. So she has given me that hat. So.
HR is fine until you have Kath under you. And then
oh, geez.
But I will say, I'll end it and turn it over to Abbey with, we've gone through lots of, highs and lows and even to the point where, at one point we had to have some hard conversations, Abbey and I, because of what Abbey wanted to do and what I wanted Abbey to do. And we were growing and I really needed Abbey to work with, doing a certain thing and growing and we got through it. And it wasn't easy. It was very uncomfortable, by the way, but we got through it. And I'll tell you what, on a scale of like 99% of the time, Abbey and I are laughing, we're rolling our eyes, we're rolling up our sleeves, we're having fun, we're figuring it out. But you can do it. And if you can do it and you figure it out, it's the most rewarding thing in the whole world. I'll tell you what, because nothing's better than sharing success with your family and your friends. It's pretty much.
And you definitely got to lean into those empathy skills and stuff in order for you to, really connect and make sure you keep connecting with each other on all that. Abbey,
I want
to rebut this in some.
I was going to say, but I remember having a hard conversation coming to Kath at one point, kind of what she was talking about. We weren't sure how things were going, and I just remember being like, "Hey, we haven't had fun in a long time," and just remembering that, it's a business, and we're here to make some money and all these things, but also like we got to enjoy what we're doing. And so, those were hard conversations to get through. But circling it back to emotional intelligence, that's what makes us all better, is to be able to have those hard conversations and kind of figure out the best path for everybody and keep going. So I feel very lucky to be able to work with Kath every day. And, usually we don't have an office, so we're usually at her dining room table or my kitchen table or a coffee shop, trying to mix up our location. But, if there's a day goes by where I don't talk to Kath, it's a weird one.
Very true.
Well, it shows you right there that you can do it if you apply, the right principles, you apply the right, qualities.
Yeah.
You can certainly, make it a beautiful success. So wanted to maybe transition a little bit more towards talking about the importance of purpose and how having good, well-defined purpose leads to growth. We it's one of the main things, themes of our show, and this is the reason why, right? So we've seen a number of studies that purpose-driven companies, in fact, grow 30% more. In fact, their innovation is also about 30%. And then as you alluded to a little bit earlier, Kath, they attract more talent, easily, upwards about 40% more talent. Right. So I'd like to maybe, if you don't mind, delve into the conversation a little bit tell us a little bit about Hike Doggie's deeper purpose.
Yeah.
And then as well, in your view, like, why is it so important to have a well-defined purpose?
Oh, I'm jumping in. It's my favorite topic. They're all my favorite topic, but that's my favorite topic. We were, like I said, when we started, it was like, let's go hike dogs. Let's figure it out. Let's make a bunch of mistakes. Let's have fun. And then once we realized, hey, we got a viable business and we were growing and growing and growing. we took the time, we stopped, and we created a mission, and we created core values. And I'll tell you what, it was one of the best things we ever did. I'll tell you, I worked at Fortune 500 companies. I couldn't tell you if we had a mission, if we had core values. I didn't see them anywhere. Nobody gave them to me. I could have been not paying attention. I'm not quite sure. But
it was something about increasing shareholder value.
Right, exactly. Beat Hertz.
You're exactly, go beat Hertz.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Hey, that would have at least been memorable. So
I know. He's absolutely right. But I'll tell you what, we sat down and we worked it. We worked it real hard, and we synthesized everything that we were trying to do, and we were very thoughtful about it. And so our corporate Hike Doggie mission is to make dogs as happy as they make us. And again, I just used to read, like, make sure you are not attaining that. Make sure that is every day you're waking up, you're never getting there, because that's how you keep going. That's how you get better and keep striving and keep the team focused. And then for our franchising world, it's basically to create an opportunity for other dog crazy obsessed people to have the opportunity to basically do what we do every day, which is to have a great life, work with dogs, and be financially stable. So that is a second, that's our Hike Doggie franchising mission. And then under that, we have our core values, and I won't go off on all of them, but I'll tell you, they're very thoughtful. It's do the right thing. It's be dog obsessed, surpass client expectations, safety is non-negotiable, act like an owner. It goes there. There's 7 of them, but I'm telling you, they're very, very clear. And what I found is we don't write them in a training manual and throw them in the drawer. We actually call them out. We call out our team members and our franchisees who are embodying our core values. And what it did, Mike, is it gave us, it's like our whole team knew how to, we are all rowing in the same direction.
Right.
It's amazing how it happened. It's like, I thought it was an important thing to do because it was like a grown-up thing to do. But what it ended up being was it became the soul of our company. Like the 2 of them combined really gave everybody very, very much clarity about what our purpose was. Mm-hmm. And it also enables them to like act autonomously, because we're a mobile company. Any minute in any given day. I mean, they're rolling out at 7 a.m. They're going in a big van, they're a Hike Doggie bus, they're picking up dogs, they're meeting new clients, different types of clients, different types of dogs. They're out on trails, they're meeting different people. Anything can happen that they've never seen before, but they instinctively know what the right thing to do is, because they're empowered and they have this, they have this skeleton, if you will, like this is the roadmap. That's a better example. Yeah. The roadmap of what we should be doing. So they don't have to call anybody. They don't have to check with anybody. If they're doing the right thing, if they're making the dogs happy, if they're surpassing client expectations, it's just, they know what to do. And it just, again, there goes our trajectory of our company.
Right.
Because even though we train them in how to leash management, and we train them how to pick up poop, and we train all the detail stuff, but bigger and better is that they know how to do, they know what the mission is, and they exceed it. And I always thought when I started, I'm like, how's everybody going to do what I do and better? Like and we think that way in franchising too, but honestly, because of the way we've grown in corporate, not only do they do it as well as I do, they do it way better than I do, because they bring their own personalities to it. They're not afraid. We have one gal, she dubbed herself CCO. She's Chief Celebration Officer, or Tracy. We did not give her that title. She bestowed it on herself, and she takes costumes and holidays to a whole new level. And it's, wow. I would have not done that. I would have not thought of that. And then she ran with it. And
you've got your purpose clearly
empowering,
defined.
It is very, very empowering. I think that was the perfect term for it.
Yeah, but it's magical. It really is. And I really recommend, if there's small businesses out there who haven't taken the time to do that exercise, to really look within and figure out what's important to them, and not copying somebody else.
This is why we've developed a tool specifically for this, for our marketing, for our clients.
In fact, there is a tool in AIC.
Mike's got the shirt on right here. So.
Oh, yeah.
I like it.
One question I always ask our guests, and I want to ask both of you, get your feedback on this, is what role does love play in business? Abby, do you want to kick us off?
Everything. I mean, we love what we do. We love who we interact with. And I think it's your perception of your daily life, who you spend the most time with. We're lucky, like we said, to work with family, so we're forced to love each other. Just not true. But I think love, passion. My passion for dogs, like I told you guys, my passion started with kids and teaching, and I've always had dogs, but my passion and love for dogs has grown in this job. Just being surrounded by people who are obsessed and love doing this day in and day out. And so I think love is, so important in, everyday life for us here at Hike Doggie, for sure.
I'm going to chime in too, if I may, because I love this topic too.
I want to hear.
No, so it's totally correlated. Abby, you'll smile because I know you'll know where I'm going with this. So when Hike Doggie, when we started, we own the domain hikedoggie.com for corporate. Okay. And so, everybody in our company has hikedoggie.com. When we started franchising, honestly, it was a very thoughtful thing that we did. We wanted to remind our franchisees to bring the love every day. So their domain is hikedoggielove.com. So it's specific. That is what all of our franchisees have, like Barrett at hikedoggielove.com, Matt at hikedoggielove.com. And so it really is. And even back to our core values, I hate to say it, but be dog obsessed, love the dogs, surpass client expectations, love the clients. Your team's our number one asset. Love our team. It's like a trifecta of love, which again, kind of the trajectory of our company, but also it helps bridge that mission over to our franchise side, which, can be challenging. You have to replicate when you're scaling, and you have to make sure that they love the dogs, they love their team, they love each other as much as we do. And we just have to talk about it all the time and show them and walk the walk, and then pick the right people, obviously, and they get it. That's a great one. I love that question.
Yeah.
Perfect question. That's a great answer. Yeah, we're running out of time here. This has been such a wonderful conversation. And Kath and Abby, want to thank you so much. Number one, for your passion, as well as sharing your stories and also the deep insight that you've brought to us today. Now, for our listeners, if they'd like to learn a little bit more or some, get involved as well, where would you like them to go?
They should go to hikedoggie.com. And we're also on Instagram at hikedoggie.
Ooh, okay.
Lots of good pictures of dogs on there. So
That's right.
Want to see dog costumes? Check it out. Tracy's involved in Instagram a little bit.
All right, Kath and Abby, thank you. And to our audience, thank you for tuning in. If today's episode sparked a new perspective on emotional intelligence and leadership, share it with someone who could benefit from Kath and Abby's story. And we will see you next time on the
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you both.